The United States and China going head-to-head in the market. I've shared a lot of information about America and China in many videos, right? So I wanted to try putting these two countries head-to-head to see if we lay out all the data we can find and compare them side by side, what would it look like? Plus, I'll add in a bit of Ray Dalio's The Big Debt Crisis theory. Like, if we're talking about finance, you need this and that. If it's about resources, you need this. Who would come out on top? So today, I've gathered everything together to let these two countries battle it out on paper. Whether it's the complex financial arena, natural resources, military strength, or critical infrastructure, covering everything from outer space, air, land, water, and even deep underwater, if we compare them head-to-head like this, who would really come out on top? If you've watched my videos and found them both fun and informative, and you want to encourage me and my team to keep making more high-quality content for everyone to watch, please consider supporting us. Don't forget to support the Sai Money Monster channel by using this QR code right here. Or if that's not convenient for you, just hitting like, sharing, or subscribing would make me really happy. Thank you. Did you know that any country that goes to war and really wants to win needs one thing: money? Because, as they say, money wins wars. During World War I, the fighting dragged on for a long time, until 1917, when the United States stepped in and provided funding to one side. So much support that the losing side just couldn't keep up. That's what brought World War I to an end after 4 years, with a clear winner and loser. Ray Dalio wrote about this. He wrote in Big Debt Crisis that anyone who wants to win a war needs, first, to prepare both financial and non-financial resources. During a war, you need to have a large reserve of capital. Third, you must have a strong ability to access sources of loans. This ability comes from credibility, or the size of the country's capital markets and government bond markets. Now, let's get started with the first stage. Financial resources. Let's start with the capital market, or the stock market. The United States has the #1 stock market in the world, with a market cap as high as $44.8 trillion. Meanwhile, China's capital market, or stock market, has a market cap of $10 trillion. That's more than 4 times the difference. The size of the capital market reflects its credibility and its attractiveness in drawing investment into the market. Not only does the United States have a much larger capital market, but it's also much harder for China to compete because its market is less transparent and harder to access. So in this round, the US capital market wins. It has a much greater ability to attract investment than China. Round 2, the government bond market. The value of the US government bond market is as high as $51.3 trillion. That's clearly dominating the world. Meanwhile, China's government bonds are valued at $20.9 trillion. There's a huge gap between the two. If you ask which currency the world would choose today between the dollar and the yuan, most countries still choose the dollar. But the United States? America has already undermined the credibility of its own government bond system. This is a major wound. Not only did they freeze Russia's assets, $300 billion, but recently they also supported the EU in transferring part of that money, specifically 1.5 billion euros, directly to Ukraine in an official capacity. Because of this, many countries no longer trust putting their money in US government bonds. China, for example, definitely won't do it. Japan has also started selling off in order to protect its own currency, right? Saudi Arabia even announced that if Russia's assets are really seized, they're worried too, and would also dump US government bonds. But as I mentioned, the US government bond market is so massive that even if a few $100 billion are sold off, the market won't really be affected. For every seller, there are still plenty of holders. So for now, US government bonds are still holding strong, are still winning. And the third round of the currency battle is the stage of foreign exchange reserves. China holds as much as $3.6 trillion in foreign reserves, which is a huge amount. But how can you compare that to the United States? when the US is the owner of the dollar, the owner of the currency that serves as the reserve currency for every country in the world? The United States. That's right. When it comes to foreign reserves, let's just give this round to America. The currency round, round 4, goes to the dollar. Because no matter what currency it is, even if it's the US dollar, it can still experience inflation. If the government decides to print a ton of money, that's what happens. But if you have gold, there's a better chance of stability. Gold is a safer asset, right? That's why China keeps buying up gold consistently. Right now, China has a total of 2,000 tons of gold in its reserves. 262.5 tons. How much does the United States have? The United States has as much as 8,133.46 tons of gold. And that's not even counting the gold other countries have deposited there, over 6,000 more tons. So does that mean the United States automatically wins? Because if you just look at the numbers, it's way more. But there are also rumors and reports. But these sources aren't exactly clear or reliable, so I just want to include that in this information as well, that the gold figures for the United States are really hard to verify. Honestly, it's the same with China. Their numbers can't really be verified either. So if we go by the official numbers both countries report, the United States still comes out on top in this arena. So to sum up, in the financial arena, the competition between China and the United States for first and second place, the United States wins in this first round. Now, moving on to the second arena, the resources arena. In the first round of the resources arena, the competition will be about food, because as they say, an army marches on its stomach. China is the third largest food producer in the world, able to produce enough to feed its entire population of 1.4 billion people and still have enough left over to export. Meanwhile, the United States produces a bit less, but not by much. It ranks 4th in the world for food production. But if you compare the two, the US only needs to feed 336 million people. So if it came down to war, both China and the United States should have enough food resources to feed their armies and their people. So in this round, it's pretty even. Let's call it a tie for food resources. Now, in round 2, the competition is about energy resources, specifically oil. The United States is the #1 oil producer in the world, while China also produces oil, but much less, ranking 4th globally. So in this round, we'll have to see. Allies also come into play here. If we're talking about China, their definite ally is Russia. If China teams up with Russia, together they could produce oil at a level comparable to the United States. Meanwhile, the US, which used to have a strong alliance with Saudi Arabia, is now facing uncertainty, especially since the petrodollar agreement was recently canceled. So if a real war were to break out, we'd have to see whether Saudi Arabia would step up as the leader and bring the Middle Eastern coalition into the conflict. Can still be allies with the United States or not. If they can, then the US would win hands down when it comes to resources. But right now, if it's a one-on-one fight, since China definitely has Russia as an ally, I'd have to call this round a draw for now. Moving on to the third arena. Military and defense forces. For the third arena, let's start with the military forces. China has a huge population, so naturally they have a large military as well, up to 3,170,000 personnel. The United States, on the other hand, has a total of 2,127,500 military personnel. This data is from World Population Review and includes both active and inactive members, as well as reserves. So these numbers include reserve forces too. If we just count the number of soldiers, China wins this round. But let's move on to the second round, which is very important, the defense budget. The United States has the largest defense budget in the world, reaching $916 billion, while China lags far behind with only $296 billion. So when it comes to defense spending, the United States wins. And since we're talking about the military, let's break it down further. Let's start with the Navy, because our round world is covered by water up to 71%, with only 29% being land. Whoever can command the seas can basically control the world. China dominates the market cap of the shipbuilding industry. They build the largest ships in the world and have the biggest shipbuilding industry globally, taking a huge share of the world market. China now holds 51% of the market share, while the United States only has about 1% of the shipbuilding market. That's why China is the country with the largest number of warships in the world, up to 730 ships, compared to the United States, which has 484 warships. So in this round, China wins at sea. Moving on to round 4, which is the air, because even though water covers 71% of the world, air covers the entire globe. No exceptions at all. The United States is the country with the most aircraft in the world, with 13,300 aircraft, while China has 730 aircraft. So in the air, the United States is the clear winner. The fifth era of the military is underwater. Let's talk about submarines. Having submarines is like having underwater demons that can launch the most devastating weapons, nuclear weapons, to attack another country. And the scary part is, you never know where the attack is coming from. According to data from NIT, China has a total of 58 submarines, but many of them are quite old and still use outdated diesel systems. However, there are 6 new submarines that have been launched within the past, or at most 6 years. These operate on nuclear power, and 3 of them are capable of launching nuclear missiles. As for the United States, according to information from the US Navy, the United States has 10 more submarines than China, totaling 68 submarines. But all of them are equipped with advanced technology, and they are all capable of launching long-range missiles up to 12,000 kilometers. That means they can launch from who knows where underwater and strike a country on the other side of the world. So in this underwater round, the United States wins, hands down. Therefore, when it comes to military power, the United States wins again. Now, you might start to wonder, hey, so what does China have to fight back with? They must have something, right? And the final arena, the fourth arena, is infrastructure. This shows how much backup each country has to reinforce its own military. The first part of the infrastructure arena is land infrastructure. China has a world-famous and massive project called the Belt and Road Initiative. It's a project that connects the world with high-speed railways able to link up to 5,100 people. People around the world, generating up to $41 trillion in GDP. And so far, it has created a trade value of up to $2.8 trillion, with just $1 trillion in investment. As for the United States, it hasn't made any special infrastructure investments globally. So in this round, when it comes to land infrastructure, China wins. The second point is water infrastructure. China has invested in the Maritime Silk Road project, which is the Silk Road by sea, covering key strategic maritime points, whether for trade or for consolidating resources. I've explained the details in this video, China's maritime superpower. You can check it out. Meanwhile, the United States also hasn't made any special investments in water infrastructure. So in this round, when it comes to water infrastructure, China wins. But don't think that the United States isn't investing in infrastructure at all. Even though the government might not be doing it, their private sector is. The third arena is space infrastructure, mega constellations. To keep it simple, let's just count the number of satellites. Even though most of the satellites from the United States are privately owned and not government owned, the US has a total of 2,926 satellites. Meanwhile, China has a total of 423 satellites. So in this space arena, the United States wins again. Now, for the fourth type of infrastructure, let's go underwater again. Submarine cables, the true backbone of the internet. Submarine cables are like the central nervous system of the modern world. They're basically the backbone of today's communication evolution, because the internet we use today, what you're watching right now, it's not happening in the air. In fact, 90% of the internet relies on submarine cables. Internet communications and financial transactions, about 10 trillion US dollars a day, travel through these underwater cables. Schools, banks, hospitals, everything depends on them. Without submarine cables, the world would be paralyzed. These submarine cables stretch for thousands of kilometers under the sea. The United States already owns up to 85% of them. China, however, has fully entered the market since 2008, and its technology has advanced quite rapidly. When it comes to infrastructure, if you ask whether China could catch up given a bit more time, the answer is yes, there's a chance. That's because for major projects, China tends to have lower capital costs and much lower expenses, so it could potentially win in the future. But for now, the United States is still ahead. To summarize the infrastructure arena, on land, China wins. On water, China wins. In space, the United States wins. And underwater, the United States wins. So overall, it's a tie. To sum up the four arenas, the United States clearly wins in two areas, finance and military. As for resources, it's a tie, and for infrastructure, it's also a tie. So while the US is ahead, it's not a landslide victory. That's why I'd like to add one final arena as a bonus. The nuclear tiebreaker arena, let's start with the simple numbers. The United States has a total of 5,224 nuclear warheads, while China has 484 nuclear warheads. This information is from ICANN. However, these numbers alone might not be decisive enough, because if it ever comes to that, we might have to count the total number of nuclear warheads from allied nations as well. Altogether, there are more than 12,000 nuclear warheads in the world, so we'll have to see who sides with whom and who can add to whose numbers. So for this game, I'm not going to draw any conclusions just yet, but if a world war were to actually end with the launching of nuclear warheads, it would be even more devastating than Thanos snapping his fingers, because it wouldn't just wipe out half the world. We'd be looking at almost the entire world disappearing. And that war might not even be called a world war, but rather a war of extinction.